Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the JobNow tutorial, a free online service for Broward job seekers. My name is Selena, and I'm a senior librarian working for the main library and the Cybrary and Cyber Commons computer centers. This is a resource provided by the Broward County Board of County Commissioners. JobNow is a great resource for anyone who's seeking a new job or promotion. The resource contains templates, live online tutoring, resume help, career coaching, and more. It is free for Broward County Library patrons with library cards. JobNow is part of the larger BrainFuse package, which includes live tutoring for children, teens, and adults, and practice tests for SAT, ACT, citizenship, GED, and more. There's a BrainFuse app with helpful features like live help, snap and send, writing lab, flashcards, and more. The snap and send feature allows you to take a photo of a document and share it with an online tutor. However, the BrainFuse app lacks resume templates and job interview resources, so it's better to access the JobNow resources on the library's website using a desktop computer, laptop, or tablet. In general, it's better to use the website version of JobNow, HelpNow, and the Adult Learning Center, since these websites have more resources and practice tests. The BrainFuse app seems to be a really good resource for one-on-one online tutoring when you're on the go. If you already have a Broward County Library card number, then go ahead and use your existing library card number and PIN number. If you do not have a library card or you lost your library card, you can apply for an online card, which will give you access to JobNow, ebooks, journal articles, and other e-media resources. Visit our library website at broward.org/library and select the library card icon from the Quick Links menu. Click on Apply Online for a Library Card from the Highlights menu. You'll get an online registration form. Make sure to complete everything with the red asterisks. So your first name, your last name, date of birth, and your PIN number. So it's best to create a PIN number that's 4 to 6 digits that's easy to remember. Some people like to use the last 4 digits of their phone number or whatever PIN number you feel comfortable with. Once you completed the form, make sure to select your home library branch. It could be main library or whatever branch you must frequently visit. Just make sure to select a library location and then select the register button to get your library card number. On the next screen, when you have done registering, you're going to get a library card number that starts with the letter D, like dog, and then 0, and then whatever the number is. Usually it's about 9 digits after the 0. And you want to make sure to write down that number somewhere safe, lock it in your file cabinet, take a picture of it with your phone, save it to your phone contacts or your phone notes, just somewhere safe so that you can refer to it later if you forget. In order to access JobNow and other library resources, you would want to go to our library homepage, broward.org/library, and select either the research option or the online resources option. Either one is going to take you to the same web page. You want to scroll down the page, and under the subject area of Education and Jobs, that's what you want to select. And then JobNow will be listed kind of in alphabetical order underneath the subject. When you're at home and you're not in the library, it's going to ask you for your library card number. So you would go ahead and type the D0 and whatever your number is and your PIN number. If you do run into some issues with your PIN number, you can call one of the local branches and they'll ask you some questions to verify your identity, and then they could reset your PIN number. So this is the homepage for JobNow. You'll notice that they have lots of different resources for resumes, job interviews, and careers. You can even talk with a live job coach. But right now we're going to focus on Optimal Resume, which is a really great software for creating a really professional, nice looking resume. So you'll see under here, if you don't have a username and password, you'll need to register and sign up until you select that option. And then it's going to ask you to create a username and password and a password hint. So you would go ahead and complete that before hitting next. And then it makes you log in with that new username and password. And then when you get to Optimal Resume, which that page shows up, it's going to ask you to enter more personal information. And this information is used in the actual resume template that you're going to be creating today. And then after you put in that information, you can hit save and continue. So you'll see it can help you, this software can help you create a resume, cover letters, and professional portfolios. So you'll see you have here manage resumes where you can have multiple different versions of your resume. But for now, we're going to click on Create New Resume. And make sure you name the resume. So I recommend picking a name that will make sense to you later. Maybe, sales management resume or whatever you want to call it. And then you would hit Start Resume. Now there's 3 options to choose from. I recommend using the Browse Samples option because that gives you really good examples for all different types of jobs and professions. Whereas the other options, you kind of create it more from scratch, but it does give you a lot more freedom to adjust your resume. But for now, we're going to go to the samples. And you'll see they have all these different categories for all these different industries. So you would look through there, find out what industry is the career that you're looking for. And then after that, you want to select your experience. So of course, entry level would be great for someone who's a recent college graduate without a lot of work experience. But if you have several years of experience, mid-career is good. If you have 10 or 20 years of experience, you probably would want to select the experienced option. And then they'll give you a lot of different job titles to go with the resume, so you can get resumes very specific to a specific job title. For now, I'm going to select the option of Business Operations Specialist. And then I would go ahead and select Use this template. And then you'll see I have a nice template here. And what you do is if you double click on any of these options, like if you double click at the top where the name and the contact information is, that allows you to edit that information. And of course, you're going to want to replace this text. What's really nice is it has the format already there for you. At any point, you can rename the resume, you can clone it or copy it, you can download it for free. So that's that blue menu the bar at the top shows you those options. You can even do print preview. And then you'll see here to the right, you can do a spell check, you can look at the history, you can format and change the style of the resume. And they also have here some tools like resume tips and more resume samples and even a resume video tutorials. So if you're having trouble with the software, there's tutorials that you can watch. And what's great is you can download the resume in several different formats. I recommend the Microsoft Word compatible format. You always want to download that kind of format so that you can always easily edit it and update it later if you need to. I also recommend downloading it as a PDF version too. The PDF version is what the version of the resume that you would want to share with people because it's not easy to edit. So I would recommend downloading both formats. And so sometimes when you're in the BrainFuse package and JobNow, it will take you to the Help Now or the Adult Learners window. I just wanted to point out the Help Now, this is the one that's the service that's for all ages. So it includes a writing lab. So students in college or in high school or middle school could submit an essay and then a tutor would respond within 24 hours. And then you'll see here they have the live tutoring for different subjects like math and everything. And then you'll notice here they have tutors are available every day from 11 a.m. to 11:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So those hours are subject to change. Normally it's like 2. It starts usually at 2 p.m., but they've extended the hours, as you can imagine, since a lot of businesses and stuff have been closed. And then here, just to point out real quick, the LEAP learning platform, this is where the tests are for SAT and ACT. So if you know anyone's interested in that, they definitely should check that out. So here I'm on the JobNow webpage, and I'm going to show you so we had already talked about optimal resume. There's also additional resume templates and resume resources as well as live resume help. And you can even get resources for job interviews. So right now I'm going to select the resume templates. And then this is the Adult Learning Center. And you'll see that they have the high school equivalency. So if anyone needs to study for the GED, that's a great resource. And they also have citizenship test resources. But down below here, we're going to focus on the Write a Winning Resume is the option that we're going to work with. And then you'll notice at the top corner, where it says English, you have the option to change the language to Spanish or French if you prefer. And then I would select here online resources. And then what's really great about that is it will give you a list of all these different templates that are free that you can download and edit in Microsoft Word. So if you don't have any gaps in your employment, the chronological resume is probably your best bet. If you have a lot of gaps or changing professions, you might want to consider the combination or functional resume. And then they even have some nice extra tutorials and templates for people in the military who are trying to transition to civilian life. When you select one of these templates, it's going to download in a Microsoft Word file, usually at the bottom of your screen, so you see I have an arrow pointing there. And then when you open it up in Microsoft Word, you're going to click on Enable Editing, and then you'll be able to actually edit the document and change it. I always recommend you want to change the file name, because you'll see here that the file name is this really strange 145 number. That's just not a really good file name. Later on, you're not going to know what that's about. So it's better to go to File and Save As. And then you can either select this PC and look at your current folders, or you can select Browse. I usually like to save stuff in the Documents folder, or in this case, right now I'm going to save it to the Downloads. You'll see here I have the file name that's really strange. I highlight it and start typing and replace it with a new file name. So the example I'm using is Sally Sample Resume, and then I would hit the Save button. And then once you have the document open and you got it saved, then you can start editing it. You want to highlight the text, left click and drag at the front of the sentence, and then you can change the text and update it. Now, a lot of times when you get these templates, there's going to be like red text, and you don't really want that red text. It's usually good to keep your resume black and white, especially for printing, because that's a lot cheaper. So you would want to highlight the red text, and then you'll see in Microsoft Word in the Home ribbon, there's a little font button there to change the font color, and it's just an A with a little red underline, and I'm going to go ahead and you just click on the black to change the color once you've highlighted the text. If you wanted to highlight the whole document, make sure the whole document is the same color, you could do the Control-A key on your keyboard. So remember, Control-A would allow you to select all, and then you would go up here and change the font color to black. Now, we talked before about Optimal Resume. So that's a really great software. If you don't own Microsoft Office software, Optimal Resume is probably the best way to go. But you might want to also consider editing your resume with Word Online. So if you have a Microsoft email account like Hotmail or LiveMail or MSN or Outlook.com, one of the free versions, then you can actually access OneDrive, which gives you access to Word Online, which would give you a limited version of the Microsoft software that would allow you to actually edit your resume and update it and print it and save it and download it. So it's a really great option if you don't have the full Microsoft Office suite with Microsoft Word. So you click here to get the free account and fill out the registration form. When you log into your email, this first screen here highlights that there's going to be 9 little, I guess, gray or white circles there. Those are the menu buttons that give you access to the apps. So you'll see here on the picture on the right, there's the Outlook, OneDrive, Word, Excel. But remember, this is not the full version of Word or Excel. It's not going to have every bell and whistle, but it should be enough for you to update your resume. So in this case, I'm going to select OneDrive. And then I would click on Upload Files. And then I would look in my Downloads or my Documents file folder to see if that's where it was. And then I would select it and open it. And then I would have it uploaded to the cloud in Microsoft OneDrive. And that's a really great idea because you want to have a copy of your resume that you can easily edit, because you don't want to lose it and have to start from scratch, because that's a lot of work. So once you update your template, you might want to have a real person look at it, maybe email it to a friend or family member that you trust, but you could also have one of their tutors look at it. So you could upload the resume and a tutor would give you feedback within 24 hours. But you would have to log in back to JobNow. And you would select from computer, upload your file, browse again and open. And you can even type a question here if you needed to, or some comments that you wanted to share with the tutor. And then you'll see here, we got Sally's sample resume is uploaded, and then I would hit submit, and then I would come back 24 hours later to check my email within JobNow, and then I would be able to see their notes. So when I logged back into JobNow, I would select my account and my message center. And inside the message center, I got an email from a tutor named Christopher. And I would double click on that email, and then I would open up and it would give me an attachment with the updates, and I would download that attachment, and then I could review it and make changes as needed. The other option is the live resume help. So maybe your resume is pretty much already done and you don't need to do all that. You can just ask some questions through a chat. When you click on the live resume expert, it opens up a little chat window, and in the bottom corner, which I've magnified here, there's a little chat box here to type in your question, then you would hit the enter key, and then there's a little paperclip icon there to upload your resume. And you'll see here I have a sample of my resume I uploaded there. So of course you want to show the resume to your tutor so they can actually know what you're talking about. And then you'll see here at the bottom corner, there's font and you can write a message to your tutor there, kind of a little whiteboard going on there. And then of course, don't forget, we got the interview tips and the interview coach and the live job coach. So you definitely want to check out those options. And they'll give you ideas and sample questions. So it's always good to review common interview questions. You know, you might want to meet with a friend on Zoom or Skype or whatever service you use and practice answering common interview questions. And then you could even Google, you know, more specific questions to that particular job that you're interested in. And you see more examples, 100 most, questions you're most likely to be asked. So again, don't forget, we got optimal resume is one option. So you got a lot of options here to choose from. So I recommend exploring this service and learning and what works best for you. And so I wanted to go ahead and make sure to show you references and images. Of course, I borrowed images from BrainFuse and from Microsoft and from Broward County Libraries and inserted them into the PowerPoint. I wanted to point out two really great resources for Broward County Library resources that we have, which is LinkedIn Learning and Universal Class. Both of them have free online classes and videos, tutorial videos. And LinkedIn Learning is really great for anyone who is skilled in technology, is interested in computer programming or video editing or graphic design. It has really good advanced tutorials for that. It even has QuickBooks tutorials for business folks. And it's a really, really great resource. And so I recommend definitely checking that out. Let's see if it will. And then Universal Class is also good. It has a lot of beginner tutorials as well as a lot of hobbies like photography and art, and it has general subjects, so it would be good for high school and college students, you know, like history and medical terminology. So I would recommend checking out both products and see which one works for you. Of course, you would access both of them through our broward.org/library, and then you would want to select research or online resources from the menu. And then underneath that, you would look for LinkedIn Learning. Now, LinkedIn Learning does require you to have the NSU e-card. So that page I showed you earlier in the presentation that showed you how to, you know, apply for the online library card for Broward County Library. The third option was to apply for the NSU e-card. And you basically just log in with your library card number, your last name, and your 4-digit PIN number, and then you'll get access to the NSU e-card and all the databases that they have, like LinkedIn Learning. Universal Class, you just need the Broward County Library card. So luckily we have that nice partnership with the Nova Southeastern University so we can get access to LinkedIn Learning. So this is some other exciting resources that are out there that I wanted everybody to know about. Community resources for training. And Broward College has a special program called Broward Up, which allows people to take one free certificate class. That is official Broward County College, you know, Broward College class. You can visit their website, broward.edu/BrowardUp, and they have access to classes like Excel, PowerPoint, project management, and it's a really great opportunity. And they even have healthcare training classes too for people maybe in the healthcare field or thinking about the healthcare field. You definitely want to check that out. And there is an email here where you can email the associate dean if you have questions about the program. But I definitely recommend visiting their site. At the end of the presentation, I'll make sure you can email me and I can email you the PowerPoint if you would like a copy of all this information. Goodwill Community Foundation, not many people know about it, but it's a really great nonprofit organization and they have video tutorials for Microsoft Word as well as Microsoft OneDrive and Google Drive and Gmail. Now, the reason why I didn't bring up, you know, Gmail earlier and Google Drive is it's not necessarily super compatible always with Microsoft Word. So that's why I recommend having an Outlook email account so you can get access to Microsoft Word online. Well, it's good to always have more than one email account just to be safe. So definitely check that out. It has really good beginner tutorials for typing. So if you know anyone struggling with their computer skills, GCF Learn Free has great resources for anyone that's new and beginning computer users. There's also the free Apache OpenOffice software. So if you're someone who can't go out there and buy Microsoft Office, you might want to check out that. It's a free software that you can try. Other resources that you should also consider is there's Broward Score, which has free and low-cost workshops for people who want to become entrepreneurs or who are already entrepreneurs and maybe want to make their business even more successful. Of course, I'm sure many of you are familiar with CareerSource Broward. They've been offering more virtual resources for job seekers. And then a lot of people don't know about the Florida Electronic Library's Career Transitions database. So if you're not a Broward County resident and you want something that's similar to JobNow, you might want to check out the Career Transitions as an online career center guide that can walk you step by step through the job search process and has templates and tutorials that are very helpful. I also wanted to mention Hispanic Unity and Urban League of Broward County because we've had several in-person workshops with them, and they're a really great resource for the community that you should definitely check out. Especially, they have different programs for people that are in economic need, and I know a lot of people are struggling right now. And I just wanted to mention networking. A lot of people forget about networking. So you'll see that there's a lot of different chambers of commerce. A lot of the chambers of commerce are now going virtual. So for example, Greater Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce, which is pretty much probably the largest chamber of commerce we have in Broward County, they actually have a virtual nonprofit business breakfast and a virtual Biz Perks East meeting. And those two meetings, I've attended several meetings, and they're really great events because they're free, and you usually get a breakfast with some coffee and maybe a bagel, and they happen once a month. So typically the nonprofit business breakfast happens on the second Wednesday of the month, and the virtual Biz Perks East breakfast happens usually on the third Friday of the month. So I recommend checking out those events. It's a great way to network, and they made them virtual. Of course, in the past they were in person. I also wanted to mention my favorite group, Toastmasters International. It's a public speaking club and a club that also offers leadership opportunities. So I really highly recommend checking that out because it's a great way to meet a lot of business professionals, because most of the people in Toastmasters International are some kind of business professional or in sales or marketing or management. So you can meet some very interesting people and also improve public speaking skills, and your leadership skills can be developed as well. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know what happened here with the formatting, but the South Florida Healthcare Network group meets monthly, and I think now they've been meeting virtually. So this is really great if you're working in the healthcare field, or you want to work in the healthcare field, or you want to do business with hospitals or anyone working in the healthcare field. It's a great way to network. And the breakfast that they do monthly happens in 3 different counties. Sometimes it's in Broward, sometimes it's in Miami, Dade, and sometimes it's in Palm Beach. But it's definitely an event worth checking out if you're in the healthcare field. And of course, some of you are probably already familiar with job search websites out there. I'm sure many of you already have employflorida.com, but it's just good to keep these in mind. And of course, Indeed and LinkedIn. Like, a lot of people don't realize that you can actually search for jobs on LinkedIn. And what I like about searching through jobs with LinkedIn is that you can also research the companies and then see if you have any friends or connections that work in those companies, or if they know anybody who works in those companies. So LinkedIn is really good if you want to get research on a company that you're applying for. I recommend checking it out before the job interview, just to see if you can learn any information about the company so that you're more prepared for the job interview. And of course, don't forget about government jobs in your local area. It's worth checking out. And then I also listed here some health related job search sites that you can also try if you're in that particular field. So as I mentioned before, if you want a copy of the PowerPoint, here's my email address where you can reach me, which is cybery@broward.org. So if you have any questions about the JobNow service or any of the resources I discovered we talked about today, you definitely want to visit that. If you have general library and reference questions, you of course can contact your local branch by phone. And there's a list there of locations that you can visit and call them if you need to. And don't forget, when you're on the library homepage, underneath the quick links menu, they have the online programs. So if you wanted to learn about more online programs, you would scroll down there and select learn more, and then it gives you a list of the upcoming virtual programs it's going to be offering. Thank you for viewing this presentation. Any questions, please contact cybery@broward.org or any Broward County Library reference desk. A list of branch locations with contact information is located on the Quick Links menu on the library's webpage at broward.org/library.